Hello, everybody. It's number 2 of this series. Um, it, it's colder today than it was yesterday, I think. I had to turn the heater up quite a bit. Yesterday, I didn't turn the heater hardly on. It was like 65, 70 degrees in here all day long. But there was frost in the grass this morning, so that's probably part of it. But it must have been colder last night than I thought it was. Oh, you got to sleep. Yawn. I come across a new vitamin I'm going to try taking. Magnesium. It's supposed to have a lot of good things it does. It's supposed to lower your blood pressure. It's supposed to let you sleep better. And a few other things. And I thought, well, I might try that. And I found out my girlfriend takes it all the time. It's part of her prescription. She takes magnesium. So I thought I'd buy a month's supply and see what happens after a month, if it helps you or not. I'll let you know if I do. I mean, it does have an effect. I sleep pretty good, but I do have trouble falling asleep. So maybe once I'm asleep, I sleep pretty solid until I wake up, which lately has been early in the morning. So if I could get to bed, sleep earlier, and wake up at a decent time, I think it would help. So let's give it a shot. One wisdom I'm thinking about is one my grandmother taught me when it comes to working. When you work, there's 3 things, I think it's 3, you never do. You never ask a person their age, their religion, or how much money they make. Now, if they volunteer it, that's fine. You're open to discuss it. But if they don't volunteer it, you don't ask them those things. When you work with them. Because some people you do the same job, but they're making more money than you. That'll piss you off. Why am I not making that much money? Well, you're making more than them, and they're pissed off because they can't understand why you get more money than they do. Religion, different religions shouldn't be an issue when you're working with somebody, if they're Catholic or they're Hindu or they're not, or atheists. It shouldn't matter when you're working with somebody, because it's not a factor that it's not a factor that's going to affect your ability to work with each other. It's that age. Again, it's one of those things that, especially with ladies, if you ask an age, they get offended. Would I look 100 years old or something? Another thing I learned, and that's the kind of thing I learned when you're working with somebody, you shouldn't be open about certain things, especially if you're kind of like bending the rules a little bit. Because if someone comes up to that coworker and says, "Hey, does he do this?" They can honestly say, "I don't know." But if you tell them you're doing a certain thing, then that puts them in a position where if they say they don't know anything, and then the boss finds it later that they did know, then they're going to get in trouble too. But if you don't tell them, they honestly can say they don't know. And it's just one of those things that I learned was a good policy. For example, when I worked for Target in the warehouse, there was stated rules of what we were supposed to how to do things, but we bent them quite a bit because they were made by people, some way back east that didn't know what we were doing completely, and they weren't realistic. But we had to basically not tell anybody we weren't quite following their rules to get our job done. So I wouldn't tell people that I was bending the rules a certain way, because that way they can't get in trouble if they get caught, or you get caught, they can't get in trouble. So those are a couple bit of here. But that's a little bit of wisdom. That's good to know. I pass that on freely and openly. It should be helpful if you think about it. I had a boss also said, "Don't feed fires." What he mean was that if you say something about something, you might make that person more angry. Why make them more angry. Don't push it. And I understood that now. When I was younger, I did learn that the hard way. And the boss told me, hey, don't do that. This is what's going to happen if they realize what you're doing. So, just the basic things you learn, it was like one time I was working in a grocery store. I had a lot of different jobs. I was working in a small grocery store, kind of like similar to the size of a 7-Eleven. It's called Grocery Cart. And had a lady come up to the counter with some food, and her stomach was out like that, and I thought she's pregnant. And I said, well, what do you do? Trying to be polite and friendly. And she goes, I'm not pregnant. And I'm like, oh, I heard that mistake ever again. I had a guy one time at a gas station I worked at. We were on the freeway, and we got lots of people from different parts of the world come in, actually. And he came in, he had a really heavy accent, which I thought was English. And I said, well, what part of England are you from? And he looked at me, and he got real pissed off. He goes, I'm Australian. I guess Australians don't like to be compared to being British. So from that day forward, when I had somebody with an interesting accent, I wouldn't assume where they were from. I'd say, well, what part of the world are you from? I like your accent. What part of the world are you from? Let them volunteer it. It's like the original thing with the 3 things you don't do when we work with somebody. You let them tell you. That works much better. So there's a little bit of wisdom. This kind of a typical day for me today. I'm still working on the steps that sit inside of each other. I got part of this bigger step, but the 2 smaller steps sit inside of. The bigger step's one I'm working on right now, and I got the top part done. Now I got to do the side part. It sounds simple. It should be simple, but for some reason it's taking me a lot more time than I thought it would. One bug keeps coming back. I keep looking a lot. It keeps coming back. Anyway, what it basically is, like, say this is the top step, and then I have the side step that comes in behind. This part of the step that comes in like that, see? And it goes all the way around like that. But what I did was I built a ledge underneath the top part, so it's kind of like this. The top is, and then luckily I have 3 of these. Then I take the bottom one and I slide it in here, see, and it creates a things away. See, then it makes a ledge for it to go in. Then I can nail it in this way and this way. Before I just had it this way, so you can only nail it from the top. So it will make it stronger that way, but also will double up the boards on the top part where you step up onto it, so it'll be stronger there too. So there's a double win. When I get it done, I'll show it to you. And then I'll repeat the same step with the middle one, which I did. I'll go ahead and put that thing in there. Then I'll get how far I got to make the small step to slide into that step. So I'm going to do that today. And then I'm going to work on a box with a wooden hinge, basically to figure out how to do wooden hinges real well. I've always used metal hinges, and I want to make wooden ones. They look kind of cool and don't cost as much. I can make them out of scrap lumber, so hinges can be expensive, especially if you get bigger hinges. I just came across these this morning. These are some small hinges that I have that are fairly small, and they actually would do the job, but I only have, believe it or not, there's only like one set in here. The rest of this is where the latches together, which I might use them for that, for the boxes I want to make. So that's on the list today, those 2 things. And then I got more work to do on these guys, mainly just sealing them. They're done except for being sealed. And then this third one here, I haven't put lines on it yet, like I did on these guys. I got green, purple, and blue. So the purple's more for girls, but I know girls that like green. My girlfriend likes green. You know, that's her choice. I like dark green. She likes green. Which I guess we have something to share together. It's kind of cool. So anyway, both things today. I don't know if the guy across the way who's moving out will have more wood for me or not. He's still working on things. I thought I was a hoarder. I mean, you know, my house has lots of stuff in it. He's been working on that thing for 2 weeks now, and he's still going. Of course, he's doing it by himself mainly, which I understand. He doesn't want to explain how to do stuff. He wants to just do it himself the way he likes to do it, which is fine. You know, he's kind of been putting out a couple stacks of wood every day for me, which is nice because if we put it all at one time, I'd have a huge amount of wood to move in one bang, which would be hard, you know. So it's kind of nice he's got doing that. So anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. Let's see if we can get this on the first take. Yesterday it was 2 takes before it finally took. So we'll try it, see what it takes today. As always, be nice to everybody. You know, it pays forward. You'll eventually be rewarded for being nice to people. So, thank you for everything and have a great day. Bye.